Hey everybody, Roxanne Kadelka reporting live from the kitchen table. Oh Lord, help me. Okay, so I felt the need to make a video for somebody out there. Look, every morning I ask, for just signs and direction on who I can help. And, sometimes crazy things are brought to my attention and I don't even know. But I like to share them because I believe there's a purpose. You okay, girlfriend? So this morning, what was on my heart was actually abortion, which is crazy. I've never had an abortion. I have friends that have or whatnot, but I don't know anything firsthand about that situation. But I guess what was on my heart about it is, there was someone that told a story about, they were a child that was supposed to be aborted, but then now they're like this, famous person or something. And so I guess, the moral of that story is they were someone who ended up going into foster care. And so obviously that speaks to me. And so, if that's something that you're battling with, whether it be like receiving forgiveness for an abortion that you had, or you're, trying to weigh your options, I would say have the baby and then let it go into foster care, because there's people out there that can't have babies. So I just wanted to share that. I don't want to get too deep into that because, again, that's not something that I have spent much time thinking about, but it's crossed my path a couple times, so I wanted to share that. What I really wanted to share is obviously about the topic, about drugs and how it affects the people around you, and then share a letter that I was given. No clue who it's from, but it's something that was like off the internet, I think. I have not read it, so it'll be interesting, but I wanted to share that with y'all while I did read it. And, it's kind of like this. On the way back from Louisiana, I'm driving, right? And I'm on this like really long road. Couldn't tell you which road it was. I think it was actually like Highway 28 or something. I could be wrong. But the road is really long, and it basically was like going up and down and up and down. And this was like, I don't know, 4 o'clock or so. So whenever we would go like in the down areas, and the trees there, by the way, it's like so many like trees. And then, it's like a picture that you would see of like, I don't know, but there's like a whole bunch of trees, so you would see like the sun like beaming in, and then, whenever you would go down, it would kind of get like dark, but then you'd go up, and so like I'm constantly like, I tried sunglasses, but in the dark areas, like wasn't cutting it, and then in the, light areas, I'm like messing with the sunshade, but it's like life, and I know this is like an analogy that probably everyone uses, but I guess just being in that seat really like made me think of it in a different view. But it's like, okay, there's things in life that come our way, and there's those dark times, where we can't see the sun, we can't see the light, but then we come out of it, and it's like, oh my gosh, look how pretty it is, because it was really pretty to see the light come through the trees. And then even prettier, like whenever we were like in the open areas. And so we just have to remember that like there's always, for every, downslope you might take in life, there's always higher that you can get. That did not sound right. But there's, good Lord, there's always like, something better coming ahead after that dark time. And so that's just kind of what I want to share before I read this letter. Something that I heard this weekend was, imagine a road, And if on that road that I was traveling through those down times and those up times, if there was no lines on that road, like there was no, no medians, no lines or anything. I mean, if there wasn't even a road, if it was, just like back in the day, people would just go everywhere and it was a mess. But then over time, right, there became a road. And then over time, there became lines. And then over time, there became laws. Yes, Grace. And then over time, there was speed limits. And that's like life. Like we have to know, where those lines are, where you're supposed to stay in those lines. If there wasn't those lines and those barriers in life, then we would just be all over the place and we would probably get hurt. We would run into each other, or we get lost, right? And a lot of people are lost because they don't know how to stay in those lines of life. And what's helped me is just getting closer to the Word. And I can't say it enough. Like my whole life, I was like, man, I wish there was just like an instruction guide so my heart wouldn't get broke, or so, life would just be better, or it would teach me. And like, it was there the whole time. I just had no clue how to read it because I was reading the wrong kind. And so that goes about the Bible and, just finding the right one for you. But this letter, I'm just going to jump right in. So this letter is called Heroin, and it is written by a mother, and it's about her child that was on heroin. And so I'm going to share it with you. All right. So it says, Heroin. Who invited you, and why are you still here? You think you can destroy us and those who live so near. You prey on the weak and won't leave them alone. Why won't you go away and stop coming to our home? I despise you, Heroin, and I'm letting you know it's time you move out and let my son go. You have stolen his life and invaded his soul. Your side effects have taken their toll. Our lives were fine until you came around, destroying his life and others in this town. You lie, you steal, you prey on those less strong. You should be ashamed. What you are doing is wrong. You know that we hate you. Is it part of your plan to get into the veins of every woman, child, and man? Does it make you feel powerful when they lose all control? Or do you feel more accomplished when you take over their soul? You make them believe you are their best friend. I want you to stop. I want this to end. You create so much pain and many sleepless nights. What are you doing? This simply isn't right. I think about you each and every day and how I hate you so now. You tear apart without remorse those lives that should be free. Go away. You're not welcome here. I don't want you near me. We've spent so much money, time, and effort to make you disappear, yet you linger in our minds, never leaving, but staying near. Why can't you let them go? I'm his mother, can't you see? I love him so much, and God gave him to me. I can give him the truth and the guidance that he needs. You only give him emptiness and a heart that forever bleeds. I'm telling you once, and I'm not backing down. I'm the new drug, and this mom is fighting for this town. You won't stop me, and you won't take this as... You won't stop me, and you can take this as a threat. I'm one angry mom, and I haven't lost a battle yet. Well, that speaks to me in 12 different ways, because my mom loved to write poetry, and I kind of do too, but also because that's how she died. But it's really crazy. I can't personally speak for someone who's using, but I can speak as a child of addicts and someone whose mom took their life to drugs. And so, there's a lot of things. Even, I'm going to cry. But even just being in Louisiana this past weekend, it's like, I knew my mom was born there, which was really crazy because I was invited to that event. Cash, what is she doing? Grace makes me happy. Anyways, Cash too. But, there were a lot of things that I didn't get to learn about my mom, and a lot of questions, like, just like random questions, but I don't get that opportunity anymore because she's not here, and thankfully for my dad, I have him, and so he's able to share some stories that he knew, but there were even things just being in Louisiana, like he had no idea where she lived or anything, and she only lived there for a couple of years of her life, but still, like, that's where she was born, and that's special, and that's history. These are things that you should know about your parents. Like, you're supposed to have those relationships and be there for your children. And if you have, an addiction or something that's not right in your heart, like I said, I can't speak directly in those shoes, but that's one thing that drove me crazy about drugs. It's like, how can you not just make that move? And that's why whenever I had my children, having my children and the love I had for them, I distanced myself from my parents even more after I had my kids, knowing, like, how could y'all do that to us, And so it doesn't make much sense, but I just want people to know that there is a resource out there. And what's interesting is we walked into the hotel room this weekend, and my son, my 9-year-old son, he walks over, like, he's really excited, first of all, and usually whenever we walk into hotel rooms, he's really excited because it's usually really nice, and it wasn't, but I love that. And it's okay, but we walk in there, and this probably wasn't the best hotel in town. Bubba, will you get her, please? But he gets all excited, and usually he'll, like, jump on the bed or something. Anyways, and he said, "Ooh, I wonder," and I thought I knew what he was thinking, but I wasn't sure. I was just kind of observing. And he runs over to the nightstand, and he opens the drawer, and about that time, the light from the light was turning on or whatever, and then there was the Bible, and he said, "Yes." And in that moment, I just sat there and smiled, because just knowing that he knows that there is an answer, and it's even in the dumps. I call this hotel the dumps, but the hotels are where some people make bad choices, and where they are living and stuff. Say hi. Hi. All right, go back over there. I'm talking about something really quick. I love y'all. But just knowing that he knew that really, like, made my heart feel very good. But I guess I'm just trying to share that, like, it doesn't matter where you are, in a hotel room, in a hospital, you have a resource there. But more importantly, it doesn't matter if you're in a black alleyway, you have a resource. Jesus has the best Wi-Fi signal, and you can talk to him wherever you are, and he listens. But you have to be willing to make steps too. He's not gonna feed you, he's gonna give you clues, and he's gonna help you, but you're gonna think in your head, especially if you're using drugs, I can imagine, that he's not helping you. But the reason why you think that is because you have something in your system or whatever where you're completely oblivious to what's right in front of your face, the resources, the help that he's trying to give you. And so your mind and the enemy is making you think that no one is helping you, but they are. They're trying really hard. And so, you know, a lot of people say, you know, you have to be, you cannot help someone unless they're willing to help themselves. And that's very true. It's like this, and it's one of those things like you have to take action. So I'm just going to end with this other little thing that I heard. I'm going to change it up, of course, but it really spoke to me, and I hope it can speak to someone else. But it's like this. Say that you have the flu, okay? You got the flu. So you get up and you go to the doctor. You walk in the doctor's office. You sit in the chair. You check in. You sit in the chair. They tell you, okay, well, it's going to be 30 minutes. Well, so you sit there and it's been 30 minutes. Well, you're tired of waiting. You were already, so then, you know, you sit there a little longer, and then, okay, let's say that you were seen. Well, the doctor says, okay, well, guess what? You have the flu. So you were diagnosed, okay? We know you have the flu, so you just need a prescription, and so you can go take that medicine and get better. That's what the key is, okay? So then you sit down and you're waiting for the doctor to write the prescription. That's really what I was trying to say first. But then you look at your clock and it's already been 30 minutes. You wait for 30 more minutes. They say, I'm sorry, we're running behind. It might be a little longer, okay? Because God's timing does not match your timing. Probably ever won't. It's not your way, it's his. So then you're like, well, dang, I'm tired of waiting here. I'm just going to go home and get back to sleep. So you get up and you walk out. We've already spent money on the doctor visit, okay? But you're not willing to spend that time on trying to fix or wait for the prescription that's going to fix your flu. You already know it's going to fix it. So you get up and you go home and you go to sleep. And you wake up the next morning or in the middle of the night. Who knows? Oh my gosh, this just feels so terrible. I have the flu. I know I have the flu. But Lord, please, what are you going to do for me? Okay, so you go back to the doctors. You have the energy to do that. Praise the Lord. You go back to the doctors. Hey, can I get that prescription? Yeah, sure, but you know, you left yesterday. So today you're going to have to get to the end of the line. You got to start over, okay? So you're going to, you know, you're looking at maybe 2 hours. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll wait. Well, 2 hours comes and goes, and you're still going to have to wait a little longer because something came up, because, you know, things come up. We're tested. Our patience is tested through these hard times. Whenever we're moving steps forward into the right direction, the number one thing that is tested is our patience. But God's saying, are you willing to be patient and wait for a blessing, or are you just going to run back to hell? Okay, so then we sit there and you get up and you walk out again. You don't even wait on the prescription. Guess what you just did? You just started it from the scratch all over again. So you know how to fix it. You know that you know, it's the Bible. It's a prescription. It's the best medicine ever. You know that it's there, but you just don't feel like taking that step to get it fixed, to let it take its time. You know, you just read a couple pages, or you just prayed in the mornings, but he wasn't doing anything. Well, how about you pray in the mornings and at night and see if he does something? How about you pray in the mornings, afternoon, and at night and see if he does something? How about you ask, and you have to make steps forward, and then he will, you know, cleanse you from the things that were still in there, that flu that's still in there, those drugs, whatever. He has to cleanse that out of you so that you can start seeing what he has put before you. You have to let him lead the way and stop trying to lead the way yourself, because you will never win the battle. It's a mind thing. It is painful. It causes fear, anxiety, hate, resent, all of those things that the enemy has control over. And you have to make the decision to do the right thing. and to go after the right thing and not to give up. You cannot give up. You have to be patient. But God, if you have a dream or a desire or anything like that, if God has placed it on your heart, it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter, no sin is too big for God to forgive. And you just have to keep that ingrained in your head and know that once you have repented, you have asked for forgiveness, God is going to forgive you. He is going to, wash you, cleanse you, make you as white as snow. And He is going to, you're going to be born again. That's a commitment you have to make between you and Him, nobody else. And you can't say, oh, well, I was in this place. No, it doesn't matter where you are. You can go up in a bathroom and ask for forgiveness. You can ask for forgiveness right here, anywhere, like anywhere in the whole world. I don't care. Like I said, if you were in a body of water, I don't care. You can ask for forgiveness and He will forgive you. And as long as you obey Him and take steps into making that relationship with Him, then He is going to provide. He is going to make a way. He is going to help you. And it's going to get easier. But you have to get over the hard times. Like we were driving on the way here. We're going up and down the roads. And then you hit certain towns and the roads are like terrible, at least in Louisiana. And it's like rocky roads. Bubba, she probably wants her bottle. Okay. I'm almost done. But there's towns that had like some rough roads. Like I was like, dang, I'm going to have to get new tires after this. Well, guess what? Those roads, those roads are only rough like that because they're not getting attention. Well, guess what? If you have a bad area in your life that you really need help in, whether it be, in your marriage or in your finances or with an addiction, well, they are going to be the hardest roads to go over because I forgot what I was going to say. But they're going to be the hardest roads to go over because they're not getting attention. But if you give them attention, if it's a marriage thing, if you go into counseling or you start putting effort in to make it better, whether that be like, just praying and, rehearsing scripture over and over about marriage or about healing or about whatever it is that you're struggling with, whatever those rocky roads are, then God is going to start bringing you to those more smooth roads and putting lines up and showing you ways. And so that is my message for today, but I have to get off of here. I just want you to know that you can overcome anything. There's nothing that the enemy can do to you that can be too great. Just like the mom in that letter, and just like me as a daughter, like of someone who did that. Our lives are so short here, but we have a purpose, and God wants us to fulfill that purpose and get there. And there's nothing that can steal that from us other than ourselves. The enemy can put things there, but if you know and are aware that that is the enemy, then I would hope that you would fight back, right? If it's something that's hurting you that you know is not right, then hello. So just listen to her. But for real, just know that there is an answer for everything. Right. Look. I tried that. Here. Oh, come here, Sissy. Oh. Mwah. What you want? Can I say hi? Want to say hi? You weren't thirsty. Okay. Tell him. Hey, look, Gracie, look. Look. What's that? But, do you want this? You want a puppy? But just know, hold on, let me hold you. just know that there is nothing that you can't do. You have to be an overcomer. You have to fight that battle. And just know that, there's suffering that is caused in so many different ways. Like, I will share with y'all, for those of you who don't know, the last conversation that I had with my mom was not one that I wanted to have. I had no idea that she, that would be our last conversation. But she sat there and called me during a baseball game that was Cash's, and me being in the stage that I was at in life, first of all, I felt like she only called me whenever she was messed up, so that was the last thing I wanted to do was talk to her, answer it, but I did for some reason. And she basically shared that but she basically shared that she just wanted a picture of Cash at the baseball game. And that was actually probably one of the times that she, from what I gathered, was sober. And so I just, I said, well, I'll send it to you whenever I get a chance. And then she called back later on, and I had ignored it. And she left a message, which I'm thankful for, because I have that to always listen to and remember. But, the next thing I know is she died, and I never sent the picture. But, that goes to a person who was using and was probably calling me while she used, because she knew that, my relationship with God, and that she probably needed, and it, by all means, it wasn't anything of what it is right now, but I did have one. And so she probably just needed words to hear that I wasn't offering her. So now more than anything, I try to talk to those people as much as I can. And it's a bigger industry than I thought, which is so scary, because that's a life on the line. But it's like, I try to talk to people. I have emails and messages and stuff. And I do need help with what I'm doing. And I know I've asked God to send me that. And so I know He will in time. But, I've spoke to people, and they say, well, if they reach out to you, they need to, you're the one they need to talk to. And so that's why I make these videos, to get it across to more people than just being able to, for the times that I can't respond. So if I haven't responded, you don't take it personally. It's something I actually, at times beat myself up over, but I know that I can't save the world and I can't do everything. So yeah, but anyways, if there's anything that I can talk to you about or help you with or suggest for you or give you a resource on, just reach out to me. And I hope that this helped somebody. But just remember that Jesus makes a way. So it doesn't matter how deep you think you are in that hole, you can always get out. And don't do something that, that would take your life, that's scary, and it affects more people than just yourself. If anything, it's kind of selfish. So don't let the enemy allow you to even put yourself in that position. But that's all for today. And we will talk to y'all later. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. She hungry. She ain't about to say bye.